This must be where all the edgelords hang out. Cool. You know, going back to live servers, putting on all this Burning Crusade gear, and flying over Outland is actually very, very nostalgic for me. It makes me really concerned about where the game is headed and what it currently is. The current iteration is only fun if you're raiding. Really, in my opinion, it is only fun if you're raiding. And even then, the raiding content has been out for, I think we're going on month 9 currently. I could be wrong, could be 8. It's 8 or 9. And it saddens me to see that, honestly. You ever notice the amazing weapon patterns the Warglaives make when you use Feint? It's actually kind of amazing. Normally, I play World of Warcraft all year round, and lately I find myself only logging in to do my main raids and my mount farm, which is really sad to me, because I do have a lot of alts that I would like to work on, but I don't have any, there's not really any want to do that. And to pass the time, really, I've been doing random shit like this. I've been playing other video games, don't get me wrong, that's the majority of where all the time has gone. You know, I recently been following the Warcraft movie very closely. I bought the 2 newest novelizations Blizzard has released. I bought the Illidan novelization. I bought the the Warcraft Chronicles, which are both very good, fantastic books. Now, the majority of my World of Warcraft friends who play current live iteration of the game ask me, shouldn't you be happy because you're in a 13 or 13 mythic guild? And well, I am happy, and I think the content's very fun. I think that the Archimon encounter is actually one of the funnest I've had in quite some time when it comes to in-game content. But you know what really makes me sad is that I don't think since maybe Wrath of the Lich King, I have not felt the feeling I felt when I entered Outland, where you enter this mysterious realm where there's immense and unbridled power, and you look at this was before flying, and flying was one of the ultimate end goals of the expansion, and you really think, when you finally get it, wow, this is something amazing, this is a delight. And I keep thinking to myself, what can Blizzard possibly do to even match that old feeling of nostalgia? You see, and the empathetic side of me wants to side with Blizzard and just have some feelings for them and say, well, maybe it's a little bit staggering to have to always meet the demand and make something fresh and new and make it feel like Warcraft again. And they always seem to be pushing some of the similar selling points other than new features. There's always the age-old selling point I think we've had since Burning Crusade or maybe Wrath, that it's like the token phrase Blizzard gives us, like, oh, tensions between Horde and Alliance have never been more staggering. They're at each other's throats. Give me a break, Blizzard. So I really do want to sympathize with them, but they make it rather hard for me when we do still pay them $15 a month. We do still pay $25 to transfer, $30 to faction change, and then there's the in-game shop. I mean, level boost is $60 fucking for Christ's sake, and they even give you incentive to pre-purchase the expansion for $50 by giving you the level boost for $10 cheaper. So theoretically, you're paying for a cheap level boost, and a lot of my friends saw it that way, and that's why they bought it. They didn't necessarily buy it because of interest for the game. I will go on the record to say that the last expansion I thoroughly enjoyed was Wrath of the Lich King content and lore-wise. Cataclysm for me was good because, again, I was a top tier raider and I cleared all the content, and it was really, the raiding was fun for me. But in terms of content, the times that the game really spoke to me was, well, this here obviously, this is probably, arguably, my favorite expansion. Wrath and Burning Crusade always battle for that #1 spot because they were both very good. Lore-wise, they had 2 of the best lore characters as antagonists, Illidan Stormrage and Arthas Menethil. I don't think anything beats the feeling of seeing Outland for the first time, But I do also remember in Northrend when you go into Hallin Fjord specifically, not so much Borean Tundra, they were both really cool, but Hallin Fjord, you get those, that music was so atmospheric, and there's bagpipes, a lot of people compared it to Braveheart, but I thought it was very Warcrafty in its own regard. It was very unique, and it just made the game feel very much magical. Now, I commend the team that writes the music for World of Warcraft games, because it is very epic, motion picture, stylized music, full orchestrations, and it is beautiful, and they have produced good music throughout multiple expansions, but those are the soundtracks that speak to me the most, because that's when the game was the most magical. I mean, even this one for Nogrand was amazing. I mean, this is a lot of players' favorite zone to this day. My favorite zone happens to be the Storm Peaks. I make this video because, as a long-time player, playing since this game was in its initial beta, I am legitimately concerned for the game. I have played on the Legion Alpha. I have not filmed any of it, because the only content I've really played the Alpha for was to see what class I want to play, and to kind of get a general feel for the intro experience. I don't want to spoil the zones and leveling. I think I spoil that too frequently for myself, but everything I'm seeing from the alpha is positive so far, but I jumped on the hype train for Warlords of Draenor just as hard as I'm trying not to jump on it for Legion. And everything I've seen from Legion looks good to me, but I see players complaining about everything under the sun, because this IP is one of the easiest to criticize, let's be honest, and that lies on the fact that it's been around for so fucking long. It really has. 11 years is a long time for an MMO to last, guys. I won't say it won't ever happen again with any other IP, but let's be real here. This is the 21st century, and MMOs just became a thing when, at the peak of the century, really. EverQuest really was the cornerstone for all of it, and it kind of laid the blueprints for a beautiful game like World of Warcraft. I will always love World of Warcraft, if I play it or not, raid or not, an endgame world ranked raider or not, PvP or not, because the lore is fantastic in this game. This is a lore-rich fantasy universe, and I have read, I think, almost all the novelizations to date about the game. The only one I am really struggling to get through is the Jaina Proudmoore one, to be honest with you. But I just want the magic to come back to Warcraft, and I really am hoping that Legion will do that, and I want to showcase the magic I felt when I went to Outland in this video, because it was so massive. I mean, you're seeing this from a flying perspective, but back in the day when you have to, walk around on a mount, ride around on a mount, it's staggering as hell. And even when you do get the flying mount, it still felt huge, because Blizzard had flying mounts in mind when they released this expansion. And then you see things like Blade Edge Mountains, where there's dragons impaled on the spires. That's, to me, that is amazing content design. It really is. Now, my second favorite zone of the whole entire game happens to be Crystal Song Forest, for obvious reasons, even though the zone never really served as much purpose as I had hoped it would. But I always thought this was a really beautiful, well-designed zone in the game. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea from this video. I have a lot of faith in Legion from what I've seen so far. I just do not really appreciate how much criticism Blizzard gets for everything that they do. I criticize Blizzard, and I have in this video, don't get me wrong, but 9 times out of 10, I'm still going to play their content, guys. The only times I have not played Blizzard content is when I literally could not, because of work reasons. And I really just want the game to feel as it did in these expansions again, and I cannot stress that enough. I don't want you guys to think that this video is just a pure negative one and trolly one. Just look at these amazing zones. I know that this is just a glowy, it's more of an eye grabber zone more than anything, but I think it's beautiful nonetheless, and where the land's been warped by arcane energies here, I really, really have a lot of love for this IP, guys, and I would say that my knowledge of the lore rivals that of novels and what's Doran's movies. The funny thing is because this is the favorite zone, this is the one I purposely wanted to spend a lot of time in talking to you all. I know that I could easily make another lore channel, and I could make some animations, and I could collaborate with other YouTubers, but I want to do something different. I don't want to do the same old content that everyone else expects from those guys, and I really commend those guys. They're some of my favorite YouTubers, next to Lazy Peon, Uberhax's Nova, Nobble, Doran's Movies, Nixium, Moo Clucking. I love all of those guys. If you've never heard of them, definitely check them out. I highly, highly recommend it. I remember in this zone having something to aspire to when Ulduar was out and the Time Lost Prodrake was a heavily farmed item. I was farming that mount for days. Actually, let me show you, just to prove to you that I'm not being a jackass. I do have the Time Lost Prodrake, and I remember being very annoyed because of RNGesus. I had eventually got the mount through some steadfast farming, and I know that sounds really douchey, but it was really a nightmare. I think I wanted this thing so bad that I farmed it for 2 months straight, and I eventually resorted to having an add-on call it out for me while I was sleeping. I had my speakers turned all the way up. I AFK'd right in this spot right here. I don't remember what my reasoning was for this spot. I think that's where I'd seen the most kills. And I eventually got them out at like 3 a.m. in the morning because nobody else was farming it. And I really feel like the game doesn't feel the same anymore in Warlords of Draenor, nor did it in Mists of Pandaria. And it really, really saddens me. I want to feel that same magic that I did in Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. For me, Legion is the most promising expansion since those expansions, simply because it really feels like it's going to be this epic, massive thing. The main thing that's concerning me, thankfully, is not story related like Warlords. It is the Garrison 2.0 system, the class order holes, and my little tiny experience with it seems like it's just a reskin of Garrisons with less upkeep. You know, you don't have to be there all the time. The missions are longer. You go do some of the missions yourself. You have less followers, but essentially, isn't it just like Garrisons 2.0? We really want to see something new. You know, I recently read the Warcraft Chronicles book, and it painted a better picture for places like this in the world, these engines. I believe this one is called the Engine of Makers. Engine of Makers, yes. And I think it's amazing how they painted the picture in those novelizations that these are machines created by the Pantheon, by the Titans, to help form the world. And it was very organic. As much as this looks like it's just something that's out of place, it was very it was bioengineered organic stuff. It wasn't stuff that was malformations or forced or anything like that. Look at that guy. He's 69, probably leveling here, man. I commend him for that. I wish that I could go back and level a character from 1 to 100 the legitimate way. I remember many a time seeing the bloody Time Lost around here, dead, and very upset to see the corpse. Oh my god, look at this. This always cracked me up right here, guys. I kind of just wanted to get some raw thoughts off my chest if you guys hadn't already noticed, and I know that this video didn't have a whole lot of direction, but what I really want to do more than anything is instill a sense of nostalgia for you guys. Hell, I remember in this zone right here doing the bear pit dailies almost every day to get the bloody white polar bear. Here, let me show you. I believe I do have it. Eventually got it. Yeah, white polar bear right there in all of his glory. It really just feels like a lot of stuff is forced nowadays. I think one of the biggest mistakes, and this is of course my pleb opinion, as I always will state to you guys, but I really do feel like the level boost itself is kind of a mistake, and I remember back in vanilla when leveling was very much content, guys. It was really a grandeur to reach level cap at 60 and get your, even to get your basic, I believe it was 40% mount speed riding, felt amazing. And then let's not even talk about getting epic riding. I believe it was 1,000 gold, and there was a huge controversy about it because it was, I don't know if it was paladins. I know for sure it was warlocks who only had to pay like 600, but they had to do a quest chain, and it was really intricate and it took a lot to do. But people were still upset because, let's say, 1,000 gold back in the day is probably equivalent of, I'd say 500,000 to 1,000,000 gold. It would probably be a easy comparison, because if you really try to make gold in World of Warcraft, it is not very hard. You can go solo cata content, you can go, you can't really do a whole lot for professions, but there are just a lot of things that you can do that really are not that hell, you can make gold from the garrisons. I just don't find gold to be very hard to make. I recently have been spending gold rather frivolously because of the lack of content. I really hate myself for doing that, because I don't want to be doing that. I want to be saving it up for the ridiculous amount I'm going to spend in Legion on stupid things. Now, I know you guys are probably going to facepalm, but this is my third favorite zone in the game, the Grizzly Hills. And I swear, though more of my favorite zones really lie in Wrath of the Lich King, but how can you not like Storm Peaks, Crystal Song, and the Grizzly Hills? Waiting for this beautiful score to kick in here. I always like the icy zones, normally. I really like zones with snow. I mean, back in the day, my favorite zone was Winter Spring, when there was no Northrend. I like the atmosphere because you can hear... Oh, there it is. It always warms my heart slightly. I love the atmosphere of the bears roaring in the background. I love how thick they try to make this forest feel in some areas. There's no zone I can really go into Warlords of Draenor where I just want to sit in that zone all day or for, 5-10 minutes. I don't feel that way about any zone in particular, and it really, really truly saddens me, because I want to be able to do that. I truly want to bring you guys more content that is Warcraft based, but I find myself very often getting upset when I log into live, because it's like, okay, do I farm Valor on my alts? Do I go farm gold? Do I go farm my mounts? And I used to have a schedule that I would go, like every reset, I would go farm my mounts on 2 or 3 characters until I got tired of it, and then I would go farm gold until I got tired of it. Obviously Friday and Saturday on my raid days, but I feel like we're clearing it a lot faster now. I mean, we do a full clear of Mythic HFC and Mythic BRF in 2 days' time, and we finished early on that second day, so I mean, I think we might be getting it down to 1 day soon here, as long as we can stop fucking wiping on Manaroth and Archimond. I think we'll be fine. But I really it's kind of therapeutic to visit these zones for me, just because the magic is real here, and it still feels real here for some reason. Maybe that's just me. Obviously the textures are outdated and the content is outdated, but as a player who played when this content was live, it really did feel like it was a MMO. I neckbearded the shit out of this expansion. I think I played for like 32, 36 hours straight. I almost hit server first level cap on my rogue, and I remember I got really disgruntled because some gentleman hit it like within the same hour that I did. I was literally a half hour away from it or something absurd like that. And oh, is that an actual player? Oh my god, it is. And he's leveling here. Bless him. Oh my goodness. If you are into the lore, I really do recommend that Warcraft Chronicles book. It's probably the best definitive lore book they've released in a very long time. Knock on wood, it's not going to get retconned, because it's the official tome of Blizzard amazingness. Ooh. Is that supposed to be a dragon? I've never really thought about it. Or maybe a griffin. Sorry, I just get really easily distracted sometimes. But the Chronicles is very good because it gives you an idea of how everything came to be, and then it tells you of the struggles that shaped the world and where the Titans are now, what the Keepers are doing now, what happened to all of them, and it made me appreciate the game a lot more than I previously did. And you know, some people didn't like it at all, but that's my experience with it. Everyone's experience is obviously going to be somewhat different. You know, I watch a lot of YouTubers who do Warcraft content, and it makes me want to jump on the game, and then I jump on it, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? And it just depresses me yet again. Hell, Nixium made a video about the coziest corners of Azeroth, and because he made that video, he made me visit 2 of the spots in that video. One in Darnassus outskirts, and then one, I think that was a secret location, I'm sorry, but he made me go to Keranos, the inn in Dunmorrow, right outside of Ironforge. The reason I bring that up is because this is one of the other spots he listed in the video as one of the coziest corners of Azeroth, right here in this inn. And it is very cozy, don't get me wrong, it feels cozy to me. Nixium's a great YouTuber. Definitely go check him out if you have not discovered him yet. Highly recommend him. Oh, I can definitely see why. Oh, that feels out of place. Feels like there should be a staircase right there. Well, guys, I know that this has probably been kind of boring, kind of vloggy, but I really just kind of wanted to get some of my thoughts out there about the state that World of Warcraft is currently in, and how I used to feel about the game and why. And hopefully that painted a picture for some people. I haven't really been making Warcraft content on the regular, and I really want to. I truly do want to do that, but it just feels like it's hard for me. It feels like it's a struggle, and I don't like it. You know, I don't want to feel negative repercussions about the game. And I know it just probably sounds whiny and like I'm bitching about it, but these are my thoughts, guys. Let me know if you agree in the comment section down below. Oh, I got dismounted there. I love you all very much, the very few of you that there are, and I really do appreciate the support, more than you guys probably even know. I will see you all in the next vlog video. Goodbye. What people are saying about the orcs. Now, moving on is the dwarves. Now, the dwarves were recently shown in the two latest TV spots, and it was really short, guys. I mean, in one of them, all you do is see a dwarf firing a gun, and in the second one, you see a dwarf talking to Lothar, who proceeds to fire the gun. I think there's a dwarf walking around in the background, but again, it's just people are saying, well, what about the dwarves? You can hire actors to play the dwarves. Surely they did it in The Hobbit, and those people weren't even dwarf size. Again, maybe this